Hello and welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to talk about how to set up burp and use a custom header for our API calls. What I'm going to do first is open up burp and open up my browser and then tell my browser to use burp, and that way all requests from my browser will go through burp, which will be an important piece to all this working. The first thing I want to do is go to proxy, change this to 127.0.0.1, port 8080. As you can see, I'm just in the default Kali Linux distribution. This will work just fine in Windows as well. Use it for all protocols because we'll be using HTTPS for our connections to the lab environment. Once that's set up, I'm going to go to http://burp/cert once I finish turning this on. And what this is going to allow me to do is download burp's CA cert, and that way I can trust the interception proxy for all of my HTTPS requests. If I don't do this, it'll be very annoying to do a lot of the labs and real-world pen testing as well. So I'll save this, go back to my options for my browser, go to certificates. I'll say I want to import one. That one I just downloaded. And I'm going to trust this to identify websites. And now I'm going to refresh this page, and my traffic should be intercepted by burp. So I'm going to go back to burp, go to my proxy, turn off intercept, and we can see that we have a valid SSL certificate with that green symbol right there, and we have some history in here. So that's great. The next thing I want to do is actually go to extender and add in this extension, add custom header, which is what we're going to need for this API call. I'll say install that, and now we have an add custom header option up here. And then with this, I'm simply going to call the header API key, and for the value of this in the real world, this is going to be your specific API key that you have once you purchase the book as part of that registration process. For the tests environment, and you can use this as well, this is going to be this 9040, whatever that is. And I'm going to go back over here, put that into this value. I found this works pretty well. And then update preview shows the API key that we just put in. And now from here, go to project options, sessions, add, and then I'll just make this like API key for the lab environment, just a little note in there. For scope, you can use it for all URLs or just a custom scope. Since we don't need to send this custom header for every single request we make, I'm just going to have a custom scope and add in the URL, or the domain rather, website we're going to target. And once those both are added in, I'm going to make sure I choose proxy, even though it says use with caution. That's actually going to be a pretty important piece of this. And then add in a rule for the actions. And I'll say invoke a burp extension, which should be the only one we have, which is add custom header. And say OK. Now, of course, you may have a customized version of burp already running and a professional version of burp, as the case may be, but just know you go about doing this the exact same way. And then we say OK again. And now, with every single request that my browser makes, we should see that API key being sent in most cases. Now, this keycheck.php page shows that our tool is not currently configured. I'm going to refresh this page. If I did it right, then it should show green, and it should say, hey, tool successfully set up. Great. That's how you essentially go about setting it up to use burp. It meaning your browser, and now every single request that you make from your browser through burp using this extension and the way we just set this up should send that API key by default, and it should work. So if I send this to repeater, for example, we should see that the API key header is not in here. But if we click go, it adds it in there for us. And that's how we can test that it works. Last little thing I wanted to add in here was using another tool such as curl, and we could use a curl request just like this. The K is to ignore the certificate warnings you may receive. The H is for a custom header with our name of our header and our value, and then just a grep for red or green to see if it's set up successfully or not. In this case, green. Tool is set up successfully. So that's how we can go about inserting a custom API header, and hopefully this is valuable to you.